Hello, this is Jarrett. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included, and this is my third episode of me playing the Moonlet cluster. So I'm building a spaceship because I want to get rid of two dupes. Well, not get rid of two dupes. I want to send two dupes on a mission somewhere else. And part of the reason is I'm running out of food and oxygen on this world. And it's not going to be a bad idea to send them to other places to explore anyways. Starting off here by putting a filter on my carbon pump just to make it run a little bit smoother. So I'm having two dupes collect coal in the other world, so why not have that dropped off right in front of the coal generators? Speaking of coal though, I do want to stop burning this so much, so I'm going to research glass and solar panels. I know I'm going to choose a carbon dioxide engine, therefore I'm going to need a carbon dioxide line that goes from the bottom of my base up to fill my engine. I'm building a platform to build a glass forge. The research for that is just about to be completed. I've started the construction of a system that's going to convert polluted water into oxygen. Part of the reason is to be able to create more oxygen for my dupes, but the other reason is I want clay in order to be able to make ceramic in the future. For the glass forge, I'm going to need a liquid vent to be able to push the molten glass out of the system, as well as I'm bringing in automation to be able to turn lights on for whatever dupe is working in that area. Here's an example of the rad bolt reflector working in action. The final reflector is kept at rad bolt in an infinite loop and will continue to do so until the machinery indicates that it's in need of receiving one. Otherwise, it would just been fired past that input and landed on the ground, an explosion of radiation being wasted. I will note that rad bolts do wear out when they're traveling, including in this infinite loop, but at least there's a chance in this case it won't be wasted completely. Alright, so this is a similar system I've made before. It's a filter, so this time I'm filtering for oxygen. So if oxygen is detected in that pipe, it'll go into the gas reservoir and eventually into the base. Otherwise, all other gases are going to go out that gas vent next to that. A little bit of logic to make that work. Now, the glass forge has been researched, so I can now build that and get my dupes to create some glass, which is excellent. I'm going to optimize this a little bit before I turn it on by putting a storage bin of its input, which is sand. So dupes will start putting sand in there. Now that area is filled with carbon dioxide. I don't want that area because that's where cold water is, but they can't breathe, so I'm bringing in some masks, hooking that up to the oxygen system so that my dupes will be able to breathe when they're operating that machinery. As a final optimization, I'm bringing in the sweeper to load the sand into that machine. First pieces of glass is being created. That's exciting. I'm waiting patiently for 200 kilograms because that's going to be the first amount I need to make a solar panel. I think this shows how worried I am about the Moonlet cluster. I'm going as far left as possible to make sure I get every single tile of light I can to produce power and bring that to this world. Now I'm building my spaceship. It's going to have a carbon dioxide engine. On top of that will be a cargo module that's going to be bringing over aluminum. I'll have a trailblazer module for getting dupe to be able to land, and a solo safe air module to house my dupes while they're traveling. In addition to the carbon dioxide line, I'm also going to have a water and a oxygen line go into my spaceship. Now I'm designing the inside of my module. Got a couple mesh tiles for building extra things, and I'm wrapping a gas pipe around as much space as possible to effectively store oxygen before it's dropped off in that vent. I'm going to do a very similar thing with water, this time putting the input to a lavatory for my dupes to be able to use while they're exploring space. The dupes that are going to land on a new asteroid are probably going to be stressed out unless I remove some of their skills. So I'm creating a skill scrubbing station to be able to dumbify some of my dupes before they arrive. Okay, I did not plan this, but it's quite a nice thing. It just happens to be the solar panels just line up perfectly with the ladder. So I'll be able to maximize the amount of light. I'm also building one underneath that rocket because that rocket doesn't block light. Now I'm telling my dupes to store algae and a little bit of aluminum ore inside my rocket. Realized I forgot a light for my researcher, that was working in this zone, so I'm putting that in so that the next time they do research, they can actually see what they're doing. I'm getting a little tired of burning algae in the inverted world, so I'm bringing in pipes. I'm going to start bringing oxygen into this system from my other world. Inside the spaceship, it's time to build a battery and do some wiring. I've got my dupes to store food that doesn't go bad, such as nutrition bars and muck root. I'm also going to store about 1,000 kilograms of glass. It is now decision time. Which planetoid do I want to visit with my spaceship? Which one do you go to first? I'll invite you in the comments to say which location you go to and why. But myself, it's got to be oil. I'm very much oil driven in the first visit, apart from teleportation. I selected my 2 dupes that I want to go, and I'm going to put them through the skill scrubber just before I have them sync, since I don't want them to get all stressed out. Okay, it's a big moment for my colony right now. I'm about to blast off the first spaceship. Clicking on crew, they've been brainwashed, forgotten their skills. There goes one, there goes the other. And I'm going to click on begin launch sequence. Now the moment I do this, I'm going to go in and take their suits off. No, it's not like that. I just don't want them to be wasting their oxygen masks. Alright, and the next thing that I'm going to get them to do is destroy the food bin. It's not going to destroy the food, of course. And I'm going to replace that with a manual generator so I can get that oxidizer running to produce oxygen. It's going to be about half cycle until we arrive. After a boring trip, we've finally arrived, and it is time to deploy my refined metal. That's aluminum. Setting that down to the planetoid because I want to build a space platform as soon as possible. Miner's the dupe that I chose to land, and I'm going to make sure I don't send them until it's the beginning of their schedule. So they just woke up, and the other thing I'm going to get them to do is put on their oxygen mask because things could be bad if they don't. Chose a spot to land. It's going to be next to 2 payloads. First thing I'm going to do is get them to destroy their trailblazer. That's going to give me a bit of refined metal, aluminum. And I'm going to get them to open up 2 payloads of aluminum, and with that I should be able to build a platform. Alright, just about to put in the platform. They're bringing the aluminum there, and I'll be able to land. Excellent. Oh no. Miner's starting to run out of oxygen. Their mask is empty. Oh my god. I probably shouldn't have built that ladder. Okay, alright, land. Get down, get it there. I'm gonna pause at the moment, but alright. Okay, that's gonna go in, get your oxygen. Quick. And take the mask off. There's no point in having that empty mask on. We made it. I was a little close, but we made it. I'm never going to use masks again. It'll always be Atmos suits. But I had no choice for this mission. Okay, we're good. Okay, with that out of the way, Miner's still alive. I've given them the other oxygen mask. Let's dig into this world and start producing some oxygen. It's going to be our first priority. And a little bit of algae there. We've got algae in the ship. We should be good. Okay, while a death almost occurred in the other world, the dupes in the main planetoid decide to build a system to filter their polluted water. So I'm going to build 2 clocks in here, and that's going to open and control the 2 doors that I've got in this system. And that mixed with the chlorine is going to kill the food poisoning that exists in polluted water. I'm also going to do a similar thing with the polluted water that's eventually going to come from this polluted water vent. Now I'm building a pipe out of my spaceship so that the toilet will work on this system, and there's enough water for that to run for quite a few cycles going forward. To avoid my dupes going crazy, I'm going to put in some cots to create a barracks, and let's get together a quick mess hall for them to be able to eat at. So we almost had to death this episode of a dupe, but we didn't, and we made it to another planetoid, and my main base is covered with solar panels. So stress level's coming down a little bit. I'm going to say 3% on the dupe scale. I'm ready to do another episode, and I hope to see you there.